Yeah, hold on. I got a couple people in the room. All right, cool. I just admitted everybody and we are good to go. Let me kick off this live stream real quick, guys. Sorry about that. That is totally on me. I will be I had another coaching call using that link, so I just switched to the wrong Zoom. Let me get this going live. And let me get this live. Going to restream. Give me a stream key. And live stream. Hmm? 1 second, guys. Just a couple more minutes. I appreciate everyone's patience. How's everyone doing today? Abe, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I feel that, brother. For sure. Um, I have been working some pretty crazy hours. But it's good, man. I can't complain. I have a lot of things to be appreciative for, and
Right.
yeah. So, all right. So today we are going to cover a bunch of different topics around um, high level and N8N. So I want to take a quick poll here. Who in the room is familiar with Make, Zapier, or N8N? Drop a one in the chat. Okay, so we've got some people familiar with the platform, which is amazing. So N8N is what we focus on here. And the reason we focus on N8N is because it's a really powerful platform to integrate specifically with high level. And it has some advanced features that you really just can't find anywhere else. But on top of that, it has some advantages in terms of AI. That's really one of the biggest pieces for Abe and I. And we really, really like using the N8N platform. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to dive into today is we're going to start with how to build custom email templates in N8N. So I had this idea where I wanted to create something that was able to build out HTML email templates, including images and things like that, and place them directly in my email campaigns folder. What that allows me to do is basically every week have new content come out from an RSS feed or something like that. So what we're going to do in N8N, and I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen here in a second, is we are going to uh, craft that email system. So I'm going to call this, let me share my screen. And what I'm going to do is call this uh, advanced or GHO coaches tutorials. So I'll save this project in N8N. So this is the N8N interface. Basically, what you see when you first log in, for those of you that aren't familiar with it. Who here, just drop a yes in the chat. And I'm pretty sure that the answer is going to be yes. But who here would be interested in having email templates preset in your account every single week that all you have to do is hit send? Drop a yes in the chat. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. Everybody in the group says yes. So what we're going to do is create a scenario from scratch. what I want to do is let's call it Sunday. So I'm going to set a schedule, and that's going to be on specific Sunday. So 1 week on trigger on Sunday at midnight. I want to go ahead and prepare, or actually, I'll do 11 p.m. for Monday morning. I'm going to go ahead. What I want is to prepare that email template. So we start with a trigger. We always start with a trigger. In this case, our trigger is the time clock. What we're going to do next is we are going to add in what we want to do, right? So RSS feed would be probably the easiest one to check. So we need to get an RSS feed URL. Where do we find an RSS feed URL? An easy place is a blogging site, right? So I'm going to go to alibot.ai/blog. And I should have at least one blog post up there, which is the how to set up N8N using Docker on DigitalOcean, a beginner-friendly guide. And I'm just going to put behind it RSS and see what comes out. So nothing worked, or that didn't work. So we need to go to app.alibot.ai and check our RSS settings in high level and make sure we have a valid RSS feed. If I can't find it, then I'm just going to find one off the internet that's random. But let's go into sites and blogs. And then we're going to go into the blog site, click here, see if maybe we can find it in there. Let's go to settings, advanced settings. Abe, do you know if there's an RSS feed on high level on blogs? Am I
Yes,
crazy?
there is. No, there is. If you go back out of this, the top right, that little settings icon, RSS.
Aha. So we got to add an RSS feed. So let's go ahead and grab this RSS feed, go back into N8N. For those of you that aren't familiar with RSS feeds, it's basically like a running list of like what's new. So what I'm going to do is grab this RSS feed, and it's going to pull the information. Now I want to look at this RSS feed and see. I want full content, and I want the number of posts to be set at 25. That's totally fine. Or I can set it down to 1, which is going to only pull the most recent blog posts. So I'm going to set that to 1. And then what I want to do is test this step again. And I've got my data here about this blog post. So I've got some content. I've got a link. But I'm still not seeing the full article content. So let's resave this and repull. Let's check this link. There we go. All right, so now we have the full content of our blog posts. What this is that you're seeing on the right-hand side of my screen is something called JSON, JSON. And JSON is what we're going to be talking about a lot in these sessions. And basically, it's a method of or a type of text output that's structured. It's like for computer languages, essentially, to be able to transmit data. It's very strict typed. And what strict typed means is that it's not like willy-nilly free-form formatting. So it absolutely has to be like escaped in characters and all these other things. And that is what the information is. So we're going to go ahead and pin this data in the top right. Like I said on the last time that we did this, pinning your data is the process of storing it in the scenario so you don't have to do it again when you test your workflow. You only want to pin your data that you want to keep, and sometimes your data may be too large to pin, so just keep that in mind as well. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to figure out essentially how do we want to manage that content, right? And so that content, if you look here, came in HTML. And HTML occupies a lot of space. It's a lot of characters. Man, this pizza sitting next to me smells good. It occupies a lot of space, a lot of characters, and we need to format that in something different. So, again, our goal today is to go from a schedule on Sunday to a email template ready to launch in high level. Hopefully, we'll get there in an hour. So what we're going to do next is we are going to do what's called sanitize the HTML. And how we sanitize the HTML is by using a markdown converter. So markdown is another type of language, and markdown essentially makes it so you can very simply read the information, but it's both machine readable and it's computer readable. Or, I mean, human readable. So it's not like HTML, which looks all jumbled. It's actually got structure. If you've ever written a chat prompt or a voice AI prompt, those are typically written in Markdown. So we want to take the HTML to Markdown, and we're going to go ahead and we want to include the images with the data. We want to, we don't have any other changes, I think. So let's take a look. Let's test this. And what it did is it should have output down here in Markdown. So this is the Markdown formatting that we are going to be posting. If you take this and post it to Markdown display render Markdown live preview, it looks like we have some issues with our Markdown. So what we need to do is that's because we have new lines and stuff like that. So we'll fix that. So we just need to be cognizant of the fact that we have these new line characters and all that stuff. We're going to go ahead and check what other options. I don't think this has the ability to remove. It does not. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pin this data, and we're going to name this HTML to Markdown. Who here has used Markdown before? Go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat if you've ever worked with Markdown before. Okay, so I got some people that have worked with Markdown. So Markdown is pretty easy to work with. It, renders super easily. So what I could do is I could actually drop it into ChatGPT, and I could say, show me what this looks like rendered.
I have a quick
And
tip while you're there, Mario.
there we go. Yeah, what's up?
So now that you're in ChatGPT, and I use this all the time, and I because I'm lazy with this stuff, I take the easy way out, and I'll tell ChatGPT like, "Hey, I'm getting this type of data, whether that's in Markdown or in something else." I'll say, "ChatGPT, create this data, and create me JavaScript to just convert it to whatever output I
Yeah,
need." And
that's a good point.
that's just the simple way I solve it instead of doing the. I mean, I'll use both depending if I need to, but um, just the quick, easy way out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So I named this scheduled email builder for blog to email. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to put this in OpenAI. So we have, which I prefer. I mean, Abe, what do you prefer, Claude or OpenAI for AI stuff?
I mean, listen, you've been telling me Cloud for writing, although I haven't been listening to you because I'm just too lazy to set up my Cloud account. I have been messing around with it a little bit, and I'm definitely getting better. I mean, I use 4.5 with OpenAI, but it just at that point I feel like use Cloud.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. So what we need is we need to take the data, drop the data in here. And what we want is a email subject and an email body. So we're going to tell it to output it in JSON. We need to do this, which is write our actual prompt. So we're going to say, you have been presented with a blog post from my website. Take that blog post and send and create an HTML based email for my newsletter. The email should be decent in length, highlight the functions and features of the blog post while being light-hearted and exciting. Then craft a subject line that is powerful and impactful, designed to captivate the user and get them to open the email. You can retain any emojis or use more emojis where relevant. When creating the email body in HTML, utilize the full HTML structure, including header, body, and footer tags. Ensure that you include headlines, sub-headlines, and any bulleted, any structured or ordered lists where relevant. And I'm writing this prompt off the top of my head, so I have no idea if it's going to work. I actually have this prompt version in High Level itself for a different purpose. Yes, you do need. So to answer Danny's question, you do need to tell it to unsubscribe. So the next thing I'm going to do is add in some more context. Every email should be, or every email is from Ali which
I'd
is
recommend, personally, I'd recommend to do the unsubscribe tags. I would hard code that actually in the final result at the end. Um,
the problem
only
is then you have to edit the email and go in and put the unsubscribe tag in. So instead, what I'm going to do is feed it a trigger link and tell it to put the trigger link in there.
That's a good idea.
So now I need to go into High Level, go into my media storage. I need to grab some photos. So I'm going to grab a link to this photo. And then I also want to maybe I need that trigger link.
Mario, for those who don't know, what is this node that you're using right now?
So this is the AI node, the basic LLM chain. So it is able to communicate with various LLM providers, and I'll show you that in a second. But the core piece is we need to be able to prompt the AI using something, and that's what the basic LLM chain does. So the next thing we're going to do is grab a trigger link, which we need an unsubscribe link. So I'm going to grab that trigger link.
Are you not going to embed the trigger link inside of like click here to unsubscribe? Is it just going to show the trigger link?
No, it will automatically resolve the trigger link
Okay.
when the email gets fired. What's
Okay.
up, Leor? Welcome to
Okay.
my calls, dude. It's been a while.
It's been, yeah. How have you been?
I've been okay, man.
Yeah.
Just excited to be hosting these calls and excited to have you guys. So, oh, and for those of you that actually because of the whole Zoom confusion, you all missed my introduction to Abraham. So Abraham Shalom is a very good friend of mine and someone who has been working tirelessly to learn N8N and automations over the last, what, 6 months, year?
I guess really the past 4 years since I started high level, but NNN more specifically the past, few months.
Yeah, so he was a Power Make user, Make.com user, and I converted him over into N8N, and now he's like, man, I hate Make.
Is
I'm super, super like N8N now.
is
And
N8N new? Because I've never heard of it until a few months ago from your post, and I started researching it last week, and I'm like, this is crazy.
it's been around for over a decade.
So
I've been
I'm pretty
using
much
N8N for almost a decade.
wow. Okay, cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
only
it's
heard
been
about it
around for
recently, and I'm like,
forever.
yeah, I'm
It
like,
is it is definitely a hot word that's been going around, even like outside of the high level community for sure. I'm seeing it all over YouTube. And I think it's because it's like I think it's tied to the the AI like hot word, I guess if you want to say, and they kind of work very well together. So I think that's maybe why that you're seeing it
okay.
as a buzzword.
Yeah, I'll have some more
Yeah,
questions as we go, but for now, I'm really excited about seeing this happening.
yeah, absolutely. So N8N you can self-host, which mine is a self-hosted instance.
That was the next
I'm
question
actually
I had.
Yeah, N8N, and I can set up anyone that wants an N8N, anyone that wants access to N8N. If you want to message me your emails, I will add you to my instance of N8N for free for the time being, for the, a little bit at least, for a couple months, while we do these calls. But I also set up N8N servers for people, so that's also an option. But my self-hosted instance is on a pretty powerful DigitalOcean server.
I just sent you my
The
email.
actual, yeah, send me your email. I'm actually on an N8N enterprise license because I do a lot with N8N. So happy to have anyone who wants to be a part of this coaching program on my N8N instance. If you want to contribute, it costs me about $1,000 a month to run it. But again, I'm a super power user of N8N. I run about 1 million operations a day. For context, it costs me $1,000 to run this server, including my N8N license. Through Zapier or Make, it would be a minimum $22,000 bill per month for running the amount of operations I run.
Insane.
So
It's
that's
funny
why
because
N8N is so
when I was
powerful.
on Make, I always when I was on Make, I always questioned like why the hell is anybody using Zapier,
Yeah.
especially when they were paying for these crazy plans. And like once I come to N8N, um, it's a
Because if it's
fraction.
self-hosted, it's basically it's except for the hosting. From what I read, it's free basically, right?
That's right.
Yep. So if you want me to set up your own N8N for you, then you can, it's like 25 bucks a month on DigitalOcean, and I charge a fee typically to set it up. But if you're on these coaching calls, I'm happy to set it up for you. And to answer Mel's question about where you send the emails, add me or send them via Facebook to here. So just send me your emails via Facebook, and I'll get you added to my N8N instance. I will say it's really annoying that N8N is N8N because it doesn't quite roll off your tongue. Like it's almost like it rolls too fast off your tongue, so you stumble over it when you say it, or at least that's how I look at it.
True.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, that's a really good point. I use Docker for mine, but my N8N version is a little bit special. Aside from being enterprise, I have a bunch of additional NPM packages installed because I use the heck out of the code node, and it also is supercharged with like FFmpeg and a bunch of other tools that are not standard. Ishmael, no, it is not Nation. It is N8N. Officially from the N8N crew at a conference, they were asked by some friends of mine, and they said it's N8N. All right, so we've got our prompt basically written. Do not output anything other than the raw HTML, as this will be used in the body of the email directly. And we are going to save this. And I always copy my prompts. Pro tip, always copy your prompts into a text editor, like Sublime Text, for example. So I am going to get out of this. And hopefully Sublime Text will actually open the other one, which I can't find it. Oh, there it is. In my other window, that's why. I always copy my prompts into a text editor because you never know if you accidentally hit the back button, you kind of get screwed. So we're going to call this write email body. We're going to define that it's coming in with this JSON.data, which, yep, this looks like Markdown. We've got our prompt written. We're going to go to the model, and we're going to select Anthropic. I use Claude 3.7 Sonnet. I need to create a credential. So I'm going to create that credential really quick. So bear with me 1 second. I am not going to show you my API keys. Don't worry. Copy this key, paste this key. Save this. And then I am going to disable thinking. Max number of tokens, I'll leave alone. Sampling temperature, I'll leave alone for the time being. And I want to see what this does. So we don't need an output parser, but I just want to check what comes out of this output. So all I'm going to do is grab this email body, and I actually need to turn this off. This is going to screw it up, I think. I need like waiting music on my Stream Deck. All right, so we've got what appears to be HTML. And I agree with Danny. It is more human in its output, Anthropic, that is. So now we're going to go into HTML editor online. We'll use W3 schools. And we've got a bunch of extra ends in there, which is fine. That is going to most likely render properly. But what I want is, I didn't specify that I wanted buttons. So let's do some buttons. I'm going to edit this prompt. Use buttons where necessary. Use buttons where warranted. For example, a link to the full article. The button should be a light blue with white text. And you can vary the button color to a light orange with white text as well. If do not use a button for the unsubscribe link. And I'm going to copy this prompt, paste it back in here, and then rerun this. And what we're doing right now, guys, is we're basically taking the output of Chat GPT, or I mean Claude in this case 3.7, and we're trying to figure out what is the best output. So I'm actually going to copy and paste this text. So I'm going to copy this, copy selection, come back in here, and now it fixed all the line breaks. So I'm going to go back into W3 schools, paste this in here, hit run. This is what my email looks like. Who likes this email? Drop a yes in the chat if you like this email. I think it's
Really
pretty
good.
cool. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's really pretty. One thing I don't like is the buttons aren't centered. So I'm going to go back to my prompt and I'm going to say center all buttons so that they are equidistant left and right.
What was the step
And
to remove the ends? Is that something that's going to happen automatically? Because
yeah, so it's because if you copy and paste this entire block like this, it's going to copy all the ends. If you select the block and hit copy right here, copy selection, and then you paste that into a text editor, it removes all the ends. So I
right.
use a platform called Sublime Text, and that's what I would recommend you guys use.
But if it's automated, we don't want to do that, right? It's gonna like
Right.
make sure it happens.
This is just for testing. The ends are like, see how the N is ever so slightly lighter than the rest of the text?
Right.
It's a fictitious representation of the of a new line, but you can't print new lines in JSON.
Gotcha. So it's gonna ignore it basically once it's when it's
Exactly.
Cool.
Yep. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to rerun this to be centered. And yeah, I definitely agree. The fonts and some other things could be improved, but we're going to use this for just general purposes. But I really like how this came out. So
good.
we're going to do this, wait for that to output, and then pin that data. Yeah, I hate Times Roman. God, it's such a bad font. It just makes my eyes bleed. We're going to use another AI bot to write the subject line. And the reason specifically we're using another one instead of the original is because it's going to play off of the email body. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the email body in here. And we're going to add a actually, we don't want the AI agent. We want the AI LLM chain. And we're going to set this to define below. We're going to use this. We're going to add a system message, write a compelling subject line based on the input from the user. You can use emojis and you should be very engaging and attractive.
Let me ask you a question. Why are you using the LLM chain as opposed to just using a OpenAI node or a Anthropic node?
Because the open Anthropic doesn't have a node, only OpenAI has a node module.
Okay.
And the basic LLM chain is compatible with any of these models.
Mm-hmm.
And you have additional capabilities in the various LLM chains.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually. I was building something earlier with Gemini. And
Yeah, I like Gemini.
so I noticed that they didn't have, I just ended up writing my own HTTP to interact with Gemini, but I didn't know I can do this. So that's good to know.
Yep. So do not output anything except for the exact subject line, as this will be used in the email directly after your processing. We're going to hit test step. We're going to name this create email subject. We're going to check out this subject. I like this subject. Make your apps talk while you sip a smoothie. N8N magic awaits. And then we are going to we're going to look up a node and see if, go ahead, Sebastian.
Oh, I have a question that is non-related, so just wait until you finish this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to check whether or not high level. So we notice the endpoints in high level don't have appropriate it doesn't have appropriate endpoints for creating an email. So whenever you don't have appropriate endpoints, but you have an open API like high level has, we use what's called an HTTP request. Danny, this is like the HTTP node in Make. This HTTP request is basically the same thing. So what we're going to do here is
that like
we
the
are.
custom webhook in high level?
What'd you say?
Is that like the custom webhook action in high level to send API requests?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We are going to do a post request. We need to open our API docs. So we're going to go to stoplight.highlevel.com. And we need to go to emails.
There it is.
Not campaign. Okay.
Templates or campaigns. So we'll do templates. We want to create a template. So we are going to use this right here. We're going to paste this back into our URL, and then we need to do some authentication work. So we're going to use a predefined credential type of high level. And we're going to create a new credential, standard, and I need to grab my credentials. So let me do that really quick.
Might be a good idea to show private keys as well, just for simplicity.
You can't use private integration tokens for this.
Really?
No, private integration tokens lack the scopes. PITs are pretty limited. So for everyone who's asking what a PIT or a private integration token is, it's basically high level's way of walking back their deprecation of API v1. I prefer OAuth via the marketplace. We covered that a couple weeks ago. If you have questions about setting up marketplace apps with OAuth, let me know. But they actually do a pretty good job of explaining it in the documentation. So just follow this documentation. N8N is very well documented. So when you have questions before you ask me, check the documentation, because chances are, if it's documented, I'm just going to send you back the documentation anyways, and then laugh at you.
But they do have a create.
I won't laugh at you, I promise.
They do have a create, update, and delete email templates in the private integrations. I don't.
Oh, they do?
They do, but I don't know if that's the snippets or if that's like the marketing templates.
Oh, well, that should work. Yeah, that should work then. But again, I prefer OAuth. It's just my personal preference.
So
I agree.
Is OAuth on the agency level versus the private integration that's like on the sub account level?
It'd be both, actually.
No, yeah, OAuth is both.
Okay, because I've played with the private integrations last week, and I understood that that's just on the sub account level, right?
No, private integration tokens exist on the agency level as well.
Okay.
But so to answer your question, I mean, I would always say to use OAuth, if you're going to go and do something like multiple sub accounts, you have to do that in OAuth. You can't do that in private with PIT.
Private integration tokens, correct.
I use a private integration only if it's like I'm building it once for one sub account. I know I'm never building it for any other sub account. It's just like I need it quick. But that's it.
Yeah, that's
you shouldn't.
just to get started.
You shouldn't ever be building things for just one sub account. That's something I will say. Like you should never take on projects that have no potential for scaling.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, for example, like my use cases are I want to get like the custom fields really quickly for a specific sub account. So instead of setting up the whole OAuth for that sub account, I'll just set up a private integration, assign the view custom field scope, and grab those custom fields really quickly. And then I could do with, that way I have the IDs or do whatever I need to do with it.
One of the things I tried to do is to create multiple custom values and fields in a Go. So as I map out an automation or a snapshot, I can just create a CSV file. That's what I'm trying to solve. So it seems like here could be the solution could be through N8 and
Yep.
And just it will have to be through the agency because I wanted to be able to do it to every sub account when I build something for them.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So one thing that you guys will notice is that we're about to run into a problem. And the problem we're about to run into is that high levels API documentation is challenging. And it's very poorly documented. So do you see how it has location ID, title, type, HTML, and then it has import URL? That's not the right way to do it. I would assume that if it's the type HTML, if it's the type import, then you would import it from MailChimp. But if it's the type HTML, I would think that you can just like input the HTML. There should be a field in here, so we get to go API hunting. It says it requires an import provider. I don't think that's accurate. So what we're gonna, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go in here. We do need to send a header, which is version. High level is supposed to have version tracking enabled. They do not. We are going to do a body, and our body is going to be raw JSON, and we're going to copy and paste that raw JSON from the high level example, which is from the right after the little single quotation after data, all the way down to the end bracket before the next single quotation. That's valid JSON. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to copy our location ID. So we're going to copy our location ID. We're going to call this now. But that is not going to work because we need to switch it to expression. So in N8N, when you're under expression mode for the text box, this is how you can use variables. What we're going to do is we're going to go format. Actually, we want.
Is that like merge fields basically?
Yeah, they're basically merge fields.
But for N8N.
Yeah. So we're going to call this, and then we want a title. So we're going to just put in a title right here. And put a space in between them and a little dash. And then we have the HTML type. It's updated by, I'm assuming that's user ID. So we may need to do this is how you get creative in high level is you would go into automate or go into marketing, emails, go into templates. And we're actually going to create a dummy template. So we're going to create one in the code editor. And we're going to paste that HTML that we used over here into that code editor. And we're going to call this template for N8N to get variables. And we're going to save this template. And the only reason we're having to do all this is because high levels API is so poorly documented. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to label this send email to high level. But we need to do one more thing. We need to actually, which I have a little extra space in there. We actually need to do one more thing, which is we're going to duplicate this. We're going to bring it over here just for reference purposes. We're going to rename this get template from high level. We need to go back into here, which is, yeah, I know, Danny, I have told high level so many times that I will give them credit. They are actually working on getting an API manager, and that's going to help significantly. So this looks actually like more of the information we want. I don't know why they have D&D in there. I'm assuming that's supposed to be something. It says elements, attributes, and template. So that's an error, it looks like. So what we want is we need this HTML block, but we need to get the template first. So we're going to get the templates from the builder and see what comes out. So we're going to get this. We've got our information. We don't need anything in the body, I believe. Let's try this. It's unprocessable. So why? Probably because location ID. Location ID.
Sometimes, depending on which module you're using in high level, they'll do location ID. Sometimes it'll be location underscore ID. So just keep an eye on that.
Sometimes it's company ID and location ID.
Oh.
So this script in N8N, that's meant for just a specific sub account. If I want to create it in a different way, is there a way to pull the location ID and have it for multiple sub accounts depending on what's happening? Or is this like you just duplicate the thing and change? You can duplicate.
What's your use case? Explain your use case a little bit more.
So I'm trying to understand if I'm building something like this for my clients, like this is like something I'm offering. Does that mean I need to duplicate this for each one of the sub accounts?
No, you're saying the whole workflow, duplicate it for the whole workflow for each sub account?
Ideally not.
No. So look what Mario's about to do. I think that's what he's about to do. Well,
yeah, you can set variables. You can use the agency API key, pass the location ID in to get the sub account API key, get the sub account API key, and continue on the scenario. So you can have one scenario to master them all.
Okay, cool.
The tricky part, the hardest part, and it's pretty easy to solve, but let's just say you wanted to check the RSS feed of all of your clients' blogs, right? You have 10 clients, you have 10 RSS feeds, let's just say. That's like now you need to basically every day perhaps get those URLs probably in a Google Sheet, and then you can basically probably have the location ID with the blog URL on a Google Sheet, so that way you can get their blog URL or their RSS URL and their location ID, and that way you can pass everything together.
Something just happened on the side here, so I might have missed a part of what you said. We keep track of everything in a Google Sheet, and that's connected to N8N?
I'm just saying you're in your case, if you want to build this exact thing for
I'm asking is like for this, but for anything else as well, right? I'm gonna need the location ID and the RSS, like whatever information is sub account specific.
Mm-hmm.
So it's through N8N can pull it out from a Google Sheet basically or a CSV file.
It could.
And then that's how it runs the whole thing.
It could. I mean, in this case, I'm just giving you an example for this specific flow.
I just missed some of what have you said because something.
I was just saying that let's just pretend that you want to offer this specific workflow that Mario's building, right? And you want to be able to generate emails or send newsletters for your clients from their blogs.
Yeah.
In that case, in order to do that, right, the very first variable that Mario set up was a RSS URL. So
Right.
you now, let's just pretend that you have 10 clients. You would now need to have the RSS URL for 10 clients.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would have to store that most likely. I would say in a Google, that's how I would do it in a Google Sheet. And then every day I would have that schedule trigger. It would grab all the URLs in that Google Sheet and it would run the workflow. Um, Considering that you're going to have to put the RSS URLs in
Yeah.
the Google Sheet, I'm
That'll be
just
an
saying
onboarding part. Yeah.
exactly. So you might as well put the location ID as well, and then for the most part, you have everything that you need um, for the workflow to do what it needs to do.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, that's super helpful. Thank you.
Got it.
So in the same way, I can create a Google Sheet with a bunch of names of custom values and their values and run once, and I just set up the location ID and it creates all of them.
Yeah.
Same with fields, same with whatever I need to build in the.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to play with that for sure.
And just another tip, and I'm going
Yeah,
off
go
of it
ahead.
now, but you can, that's if it's going to be like the same, let's just say it's the same custom fields for all of the accounts, then you can save yourself a step and you don't have to use a Google Sheet. You can hard code that directly into, I mean, you would need the location IDs, but you could hard code that directly into the workflow.
Right, but if it's
Um,
the same everything, it'll be just a snapshot.
that's true.
Yeah, like for me, it's like if I'm working with someone, I'm mapping everything out. I'm like, okay, these are the 50 values we need for your specific business use case.
Yes.
Because if I need them for 2 different events and I need to duplicate, I need 100. It's easier to
Yes.
just copy paste and then change number 1 to number 2, right?
Mario, when is Patchy Toes? When is his session?
Thursday.
Thursday morning, right?
Yeah, Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Is he's that would be like something. I mean, we could talk about that on this session next week, but that's actually a great
That's a mic thing, yeah, for sure.
yeah, a little bit because like what you just said is actually a great idea, right? Creating, let's just say 10 tabs on like a Google, 10 sheets on a Google Sheet, one for custom fields, one for custom values, one for tags, and you can load the entire snapshot. Like you're saying, that's a great use case as well.
Like build it and then you just need to connect it into the
Yeah.
forms, into the funnels, and into the workflows.
Exactly.
And maybe even with Mike's help, automatically document it in his manager and his snapshot.
Yeah.
The whole thing. That'll be beautiful.
So right now, what it's saying is that my template, my HTML is not valid JSON. And just a heads up, everyone, we are 2 minutes before scheduled end, but I'll be staying on until this is done. So feel free to hang out, and we'll be talking about kind of the errors we're facing. And we're not going to be wrapping up for any like foreseeable future. So love to have you guys hang out. We definitely have a lot of cool information we're sharing today. But if you have to jump, I totally get it. And this replay will be available via YouTube and Facebook here shortly. Go ahead, Courtney. Feel free to ask a question.
Thank you. It's slightly off topic, but it hit me because
please.
yesterday you were talking about not ever giving anyone agency level access. I'm in the midst of doing a migration from HubSpot to GHL with one of my clients, and we hired a one of the GHL certified admin from the list.
Yep.
And one of the problems that we're facing is that he said we're not going to be able to report on any historical data once we're over into GHL. So what he was going to do is take some pictures of our current dashboards and reports and put them on a custom menu link so that we could at least access them. But this morning he told me that he needs agency level access to do that, which I think is correct. But I don't know this guy. I don't know anything about him. He hasn't exactly followed the way that I think he should have done. He's kind of fumbled the migration, and I'm uncomfortable giving him agency level access. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you need me to create? I'll create the custom menu links and then we can go from there. And he just keeps insisting that I give him agency level access. And I'm like, dude, you're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't give agency level access. Just tell him, hey, look, if I'm not comfortable doing it, I'm not giving it to you. Stop asking for it, and just give me the links and I'll create them. If you want to do this work and you want to get paid, then you'll do the work and get paid, but you'll do it by my terms.
Okay. Thank you. I just, I was like, my gut is like, no, but I just kept saying, what do you need? He just kept repeating the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, okay, we're in a lot of money here. And now what do I do? So, okay.
What
Yeah.
are the items? What are like the items that you can't get added?
So my client did a lot
Really quick.
look at you.
It worked. So let's take a look in high level, and we will get back to Courtney's question in a second. But I should now have a template in high level called 2025-0506, how to set up N8N using Docker on DigitalOcean beginner friendly guide. If I go to preview the template, it's not correct. So it worked partially. Something is amiss. So go ahead, Courtney, with your question.
So she does a lot of reporting and, year-to-date marketing and sales data on her dashboard in HubSpot. And what he's saying is that we won't be able to report on any of like our previous lead flow, our previous deal value amounts or anything along those lines. And so he was just going to take screenshots essentially of our current dashboard. So at least we had a reference and put them in the custom menu link so that we could see them.
Why
So
wouldn't you just do it in Google Drive?
Yeah, I was gonna say at the very least, what I was gonna recommend is one, export the data, right? Like that way you
Right.
have an export, and then at the very least create like a Looker Studio so you can create some sort of dashboard on the previous stuff. And then there is some things that you can't put into high level that you won't be able to like actually, for example, like appointments. You can't add, I don't think you can retroactively add appointments. Maybe you
Okay.
can now, I don't remember.
I mean, you
So
can
like that
work
would be a
around
good
with
example
opportunities.
of something that you would export and then use in like a Looker Studio or something like that. That way you still have that data. But then there is some things, for example, like opportunity data. And there is some workarounds that you can not retroactively, but you can get them added and then use
I
like a
mean,
custom date field or something like that to backdate it. I'm just coming up with workarounds to get somewhere better than screenshots. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that would be helpful because I was like, oh, that's a big deal. But I think she's so much better on GHL. It's just,
Yeah, absolutely.
theoretically,
trying to.
you can probably take the data and some of it at least convert into an opportunity CSV and at least have something in opportunity level because that you can track in the dashboard.
Hmm.
Like appointments, you can turn them into opportunities and then see how many showed up, how many didn't, just based on the
Yeah.
converting it into an opportunities format.
Interesting. Okay.
That's
I went through trying to find somebody who could do the migration because it was way over my head trying to do that. And it was hard to find somebody. And I found him and he seemed so competent. But now I'm like, I'm looking at I told him, I said, don't export any of our data until we're ready to go live on GHL. And next thing you know, I see all the contacts imported and all the deals. And I'm like, wait a minute, all of our leads are still coming into HubSpot. We're losing all this data. And now I'm looking through all the fields that he transferred over, and everything is a single line text. All of our drop down menus are gone for our data. And I'm like, oh, and now he's demanding the agency level access. And I'm like, oh, this is going downhill fast.
Did you already pay him?
No. Well, you know what? I think so. She paid him 2,000 up front. Yeah.
Oh man.
But she could probably claim it back on her credit card. But
My recommendation personally, if I were you, is I would have it. Does she know that it's high level?
yeah, she's my virtual assistant client, and I've been really upfront with her. I don't have an agency relationship with her. I just moved her into my agency because I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? We're moving you anyway. You might as well be under mine so I can kind of help things out and navigate a little bit more. So she knows it's high level, yeah. But I'm nervous now that I see what he's done because I keep telling him like he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna focus on the automations because I'm like, I want you to just set up everything, do the complete migration so that I can take that and run with it once we're set up in there. And I keep trying to tell him we need GHL up and running so that I can get my data in there. And I don't know what it is he's doing. He told me today that he was working, he had started all the automations, and I'm like, dude, I can see the automations. You've done none.
I would
Yeah,
say I would say like the first thing is like really understanding what the data that you have
it's
is.
there's
It's what
so
there's so
I said
much.
it's complex. It's really, which
I
is
mean,
why I didn't want
if
to
you
do
want,
it.
shoot
It's
me a DM. I'll if you want like to just talk about it after, I'm happy to like help you figure out what's the best way to go about it.
I would love that.
I would say like again, what's better than anything's better than screenshots. In my opinion, screenshots are worthless.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was like, well, what's the point? I mean, I guess, you know,
It's to
export
make
that
it
data
seem like
into
there is something. That's what screenshots are. It's like, hey, it looks nice. It looks like
yeah.
it
yeah,
should do. That's all that
I
is.
mean, even just having the screenshot really doesn't tell us that much anyway. It's not really,
Yes. So again, it might not be in high level, but that's part of ripping off the band-aid of switching, right? It's like
yeah,
something you gotta set that expectation. But you can definitely get the data out, put it into Looker Studio or similar, and at least have a dashboard reporting on that data. Uh,
okay.
So it did successfully transfer into high level. I have to make a call to high level's API team to figure out why it's missing some API information, but that is the basic process of doing it. The easier method would be to store it as a custom value and then have the custom value be just the sole thing in the HTML template.
it's a
So
good
that's
idea.
one way to do it as well. But Sebastian has a question, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Sebastian what's up.
Hey, buddy, just a quick question. I saw your post about cold emailing high level using white label suite 2. What's the best way to do it? Where can I learn how to?
So we're actually going to cover that probably next Tuesday.
Oh, cool. Great. Because I'm
Yeah. So
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're probably going to cover that next Tuesday. Basically, it's a combination of white label suite to generate the content and then or to generate the emails and then the chat GPT node to generate the content.
Good. Great. And then you feel like using high level is better than something like maybe instantly or smartly or any of those?
Yes. 100%.
Cool.
And I use Amazon Simple Email Service.
Pardon?
I use Amazon Simple Email Service.
Mm-hmm. I
And
have. Mhm.
that's the easiest way to send emails. It requires a little bit more setup. But yeah.
Is that
Great.
instead of LC completely? Like, does that remove
Yes.
LC from the sub account?
Yes.
Thank you, Mario. I'll see you next week then.
Cool, guys. Well, who else has questions? We are just about to wrap up. I'm going to go eat some pizza. We're about 10 minutes over, but who else has questions? Feel free. The floor is open.
I have a couple.
Sure. What's up?
One, just regarding the last thing, which is the cold emails. Do you need to use the white label suite for it, or is that just how you collected the data?
That's just how I collected the data.
So you potentially recommend to whenever a client that needs to do cold outreach to just use the Amazon service versus LC completely for everything?
100%.
Okay. My other question is, like I said, I started researching the N8N and the possibilities with it as I started like learning the APIs, how to develop things with it. Is there a way to trigger things from high level into N8N without using a premium action, or it's always going to be through the custom webhook?
Wait, say that one more time.
So from my understanding, the way to trigger APIs from the workflows in high level is through the custom webhook, which is a premium action.
Oh, you would add a tag to the contact, and the tag would trigger the workflow.
Right, but
No, but the question is, how do you fire off an API call or an HTTP request in high level? Yes, the answer is you would have. No,
Yeah.
well, you would have to use the premium actions if you wanted to do it in high level. Me and Mario are going to call you crazy. But what we'd recommend is to use a webhook from N8N and fire that HTTP request in N8N, right? That's what I would tell you to do.
So
I think Mario would agree.
So the only way to trigger from high level is through the custom webhook.
Yes.
If there's an automation.
But no, the regular webhook node isn't a premium action. Only the custom webhook node is the premium
So the
action.
regular works with N8N. I can send things to N8N
Yes.
and the regular webhook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. All right. And do you have any? That's something I tried to figure out with the APIs, which I on the documentation I couldn't figure it out. Is there a way to fetch previous messages content? I'll give the use case. I could have a client that I'm working on integrating AI, and he's very much a control freak at the moment because he doesn't know what's going to happen, so he wants to approve everything. So the workflow I want to create is when we send a quote to a client, we want to automate the follow-ups. So we want to create a 3-email sequence, 3 emails, but to take all the information from the last emails and the form submission and send it into AI to generate the emails. I'm wondering if there's a way to fetch the outgoing.
You would use a custom you'd use a high level marketplace app and the webhook out of the high level marketplace app, and then you have to filter on the specific location ID.
So I'll need to have the developer account and create my own app, basically.
But all your app needs to do is fire a webhook. So it's literally like it's Barney science to set it up.
But does the webhook have all the information of incoming and outgoing email?
It only has the outgoing, and then the incoming you would fire from the incoming you would fire from a webhook in no, it would have both incoming and outgoing.
Okay, I'll have to play with I don't know if we have time to dig it deeper now, but at some point I would love to see that or understand more because I'm still new to the APIs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. Last quick thing that's not for now, but I saw you posted something about the coaches snapshot. I'm building something similar to a company I work with now, so I'm curious to hear more about what you build there.
Yeah, so it's this whole like uber complex system of being able to manage all of your coaching, like all kinds of stuff inside of the
Like one
inside, yeah, in one sub account.
So that's like coaching calls or weekly group calls, basically. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about these calls. Sorry I haven't joined earlier, but I'm here now.
Awesome. Well, cool, guys. Thank you so much for attending today. I really appreciate all of you, and we will get back. I know I got pizza sitting next to me, and it smells so freaking good. We will hop back on tomorrow promptly. I believe we have a noon call, a 1 p.m. call, and a 3 p.m. call as well. So we've got several calls tomorrow. And if anyone has any questions, Courtney, reach out to me and Abraham. I'll start a group chat regarding the VA that you're working with. We'll come up with a plan and we'll get you sorted out.
Thank you so much, Mario. I appreciate you.
Yep, no problem, guys. Well, thank you all so much. It is pizza time. Bye, guys.
Does anybody else know where those meetings are scheduled?
If you go to ghlcoaches.com,
okay,
there's a list on that of when they're scheduled.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, man.
Yep. Take care, guys.